Good morning, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and we're going to be keeping you posted and monitoring these storms that are moving in from Alabama, pushing through the state of Georgia and metro Atlanta. The latest that we have right now is that a tornado watch now has been issued, including the metro Atlanta area. That's going to be in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. So maybe your phones went off. Now, these are not tornado warnings, anything right now. This is a tornado watch that has just been issued to include the metro Atlanta area. As you can see here, it does include us right here in Atlanta. It goes as far north as Gwinnett County, North Fulton County, Cobb County, over into Paulding County, as well as into areas of Haralson County and Polk County. That line down to the south extends over just to the south of Athens as well. That line down to the south is where we have this tornado watch until 9 o'clock in the morning, including the South Metro area and also down into central Georgia. We also have this tornado watch back in Alabama that includes Cleburne and Randolph County. That is supposed to expire at 4 a.m. Central Time, whereas ours is going to expire at about 9 o'clock in the morning. The reason we have this tornado watch is because we've been tracking these showers and storms that have been moving through areas of Alabama, and they're pushing into the state of Georgia. Right now, the strongest part of these storms are still just over, really just outside of Cleburne and Randolph County. You can see that line pretty much right along I-59. The line has moved through Birmingham already. It's approaching Anniston with that heavy rain. And then you see down to the south of I-20, that's where we have a lot more of the thunder and lightning. What is interesting right now is that we did have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings as this was west of Birmingham and going through Birmingham. Right now in this line, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, but we could see some of those develop, and we're watching within this line of storms the potential that we could see some rotation developing within that as well. So this is what we're going to be watching. The chances for tornadoes are on the low end with this. What we really have to watch will be the pockets of very heavy rain, as well as the potential for some brief spin-ups that could occur there and some of the strong winds in association with these storms. So here it is in motion right now. We are watching some bands of rain coming through Atlanta and here on the north side right now. It's even generating a little thunder and lightning up in parts of western Gilmer and western Fannin County up in far north Georgia, but there's nothing considered severe with that right now. What we are watching, though, some of these additional showers that are coming through Atlanta, this is all well ahead of that main line that is still back into parts of Alabama. And you can see that a little bit closer right here as those showers are moving through. The main threats we have with that right now, just some of those pockets of heavy rain, but nothing actually severe with that at this hour. This is the system, though, that we're watching coming through Alabama, approaching eastern Alabama, in eastern Alabama right now, approaching Cleburne and Randolph counties. And that's going to keep moving into West Georgia soon. And we just have that new tornado watch that's issued, again, expiring at about 9 o'clock this morning. Now, we're going to widen out a little bit more. As you can see here, around Montgomery and southward, that's where most of the action has been taking place. That is where we not only have severe thunderstorm warnings, but also tornado warnings. I'm going to get a little bit tighter here to this one right here. And you can see there near Montgomery where we have a couple of those tornado warnings that have been moving through that area. A lot of this is going to move right up 85 here. So areas over near Auburn need to be watching this very closely. Again, just south of Montgomery and south and east of Montgomery where we have a couple of those tornado warnings. And then that line continues extending down to the south. Well, that's where the strongest part of these storms have been so far, really, in central and southern Alabama. As the line pushes into Georgia, we're going to be watching this very closely here because if these hold together, then we could see some of those warnings extend into areas, especially on the south side. And again, including Metro Atlanta in that tornado watch that was issued here, that's going to be extending on here until about 9 o'clock in the morning. So that is what we're watching. The good news is, though, compare what we're seeing there in Montgomery southward to what's happening here north of Montgomery. This line still moving through, still with thunder and lightning just south of I-20, but we're watching this approach West Georgia. And so far, the part that's coming closer to West Georgia here in our area is not as strong as what we're seeing down from Montgomery southward. But again, as this moves into our area, we're watching it closely. We've got a lot of dynamics happening here that will determine whether or not any of these storms will actually turn severe. One of the things in our favor is we have a wedge of cooler air over us, but that wedge is eroding now. We're actually watching temperatures rise during the overnight hours. It's not getting cooler. It's actually getting a little warmer here during the overnight hours. And with that warmer air coming in, that could help to sustain some of those showers that could turn strong. Live look right now in Rome. This is an area that we're watching first in West Georgia. That could see some action there as that system comes in from Alabama. Here is a live look at the airport. I know you can't really see a lot there. Visibility is lower right now at the airport. We do not have any active weather delays right now at Hartsfield-Jackson. Of course, always check your own flight there because we could see some individual flights that have some delays due to the volume that we've been dealing with at Hartsfield-Jackson here during the overnight hours, and of course during the holiday period. I'm checking in now. I just want to get another look at what we're watching from the National Weather Service to make sure we don't have any new updates coming in. Just that tornado watch that was just issued here right before 2 a.m. and that's why I'm on with you right now so we can track these storms that are moving through. For the rest of the day on Sunday, we're going to watch that severe weather threat move over to the east of us with that line of showers and storms that will be pushing away from our area. And things are going to be getting better. Really, we're thinking by mid-morning here in the metro area, and then everything moves on over to the east, and really by the afternoon hours, we really think that severe weather threat will be gone. So we have this weather impact alert that remains in effect. We'll see if we're going to keep holding on to this weather impact alert through noon. Right now, we still have it through noon to kind of cover areas to the east of us with that line of storms moving through, and that's what we're watching. Storms and the heavy rain that'll be moving in. Be weather aware. If you're watching me now, I'm glad that you are here at 11 Alive Plus because we want you to be aware as these storms roll through, and use caution when you're driving as well because some of these storms will have some heavy rain. We're expecting some ponding on the roadways out there too. Visibility is low in some areas. I showed you that tower cam at the airport where it shows 3-mile visibility, but you'll notice when I showed you the Rome tower cam there, we didn't see any fog there at all. It's just that rain that's going to be coming in. West Georgia, Carrollton, LaGrange, you're fine. Not seeing any of the fog there, but it does get a little more limited in Peachtree City. Atlanta, only 1/3 of a mile visibility there, as well as in Gainesville. Athens, you've got about a mile visibility. So you can see that thicker fog right now is where we have that wedge of cooler air where these temperatures are closer to the dew point, and that's why we're seeing that visibility a little bit lower in some of those spots. Here is the key of what we're watching with that wedge of cooler air. We're at 60 degrees right now. This is a new update that just came in. Last hour we were in the 50s. Now we're in the 60s. We're watching that wedge begin to erode. And what that is, it's a shallow layer of cooler air at the surface with a northeasterly wind. And notice the difference here between LaGrange, where it's 64, 63 in Peachtree City, 60 in Atlanta and Marietta, but it's 56 in Gainesville and Athens, 53 in Clayton. We've had this wedge that has been cooler. If that wedge would stay firm with us, that would protect us somewhat from that severe weather out to the west. That severe weather, or those stronger storms, would weaken a little bit more. But since this wedge is eroding and we're actually seeing the temperatures rise, we can't count on that cooler air to protect us from any of that severe weather. So that's the concern that we have right now, is that this wedge of cooler, more stable air is eroding. We are actually watching the temperatures rise in the overnight hours. That usually doesn't happen. Usually overnight, temperatures are getting cooler. But with the southerly flow now taking away that wedge, that's ushering in not only the warmer air, but also the potential for a little more instability to move through, and that is what could potentially bring us some another ingredient that will allow some of these storms to turn strong. I want to show you these temperatures, and this is what I'm talking about with that cooler air. You know, during the day here on Saturday, we pretty much were holding in the low 50s pretty much all afternoon. We didn't see a lot of rises or dips in the temperatures during the day. It pretty much held steady in the lower 50s. Now, we got to 11 o'clock at night, it went up to 53. Again, we usually see temperatures in the overnight hours falling or getting cooler, but that's not the case here, as that wedge is eroding. At midnight, we're up to 55. At 1 a.m., 56. Now we're at 60 degrees in the 2 o'clock hour. So these temperatures rising shows that that wedge is eroding, and with that warmer air coming in, excuse me, we have the potential to sustain some of these storms that are rolling in from Alabama. You see here over the next 12 hours, generally we'll be in those lower 60s here. 7 o'clock in the morning, 60, 9 o'clock, 61, 11, 1 o'clock, 62. And then in the afternoon, we've got the sunshine breaking through some of those clouds. We'll be at about 63 degrees. But it's this time frame really between now and 9 a.m. when we're going to see that potential for some of those stronger storms to continue to move on through. Here's the forecast track. There's the line that is just to the west, about to push into Cleburne County and Randolph County, Alabama. Here we go at 5 a.m. That line is going to be over our area. I know my head's covering up the timeline that you see right there. All right, this is at 5 a.m. As this line of showers and storms will be rolling through metro Atlanta. Within this band, we have to watch that some of those storms could turn strong, maybe some severe thunderstorm warnings. Also, we'll be watching within that line the potential that some of those storms could have some brief rotation with them as well. We have had a history of that back into Alabama. Whether or not that rotation would hold together moving through our area is still suspect, but again, we have to watch as these ingredients are kind of coming together as temperatures warm a little bit, that we could sustain some of those stronger storms here. Once we get to 9 o'clock in the morning, that main line is already well to the east of us and out of here. The severe weather threat is mainly from now until about 9 in the morning, really earlier. It'll be over in the metro area. We're just saying through 9 o'clock in the morning to include those areas to the east of us. And then it's gone. And we'll actually see the sunshine breaking through once we get into the afternoon hours. And temperatures pretty much holding steady there in the 60s for the rest of those afternoon hours. And then getting into Monday, we'll be watching a few clouds around. Into Tuesday, we will have just a low risk for some scattered showers that'll be moving through our area. So I'm going to wrap this up in just a couple of minutes here. Before I do, I'm going to be here overnight. Danielle Moss is going to be with me here early in the morning hours, as well as we're watching these storms that are rolling through. We will, if necessary, break into programming on air on 11 Alive. Right now we're on 11 Alive Plus and a lot of our digital feeds that we have going out right now. But we're going to be watching any storms that turn severe. We will break into programming on 11 Alive as well as here on 11 Alive Plus to let you know about any tornado warnings coming through. We'll have severe thunderstorm warnings here as well, plus running the crawl there at the bottom of your screen as these storms are rolling through. So here's the latest that we have. Danielle Moss will be in with me this morning. We'll be teaming up, tracking these storms rolling through overnight. For now, we've got the showers that are over metro Atlanta and into North Georgia, some of that with thunder and lightning, but those storms are not classified as severe. This is the part of the storm system that has the potential to turn severe. So far, this part to the east of Birmingham is just heavy rain with some thunder and lightning, especially just south of I-20 there. Nothing severe out of those yet, moving into Cleburne and Randolph, but it's just that really heavy rain that's pushing on through. But the part that is severe right now is around Montgomery and southward. So we're going to have to watch that part of the system as it gets closer to Columbus and also LaGrange to see if any of those storms hold together as severe, as well as watching that northern part north of Montgomery, because as this moves into Georgia, we could see some severe storms developing. Just because they're not severe over along I-20 right now doesn't mean that they can't turn severe moving into West Georgia and into the metro Atlanta area. And again, this tornado watch is in effect now until 9 o'clock this morning, and it does include the metro area here. I'm going to show you that watch right here, and we'll be wrapping this up in just about 15 seconds here at 2:15. Here is that tornado watch, including the metro area and going southward. That'll be in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. So we'll keep running the maps on your screen here at 11 Alive Plus so you can track these storms moving through. I'll have more updates throughout the night as necessary right here on 11 Alive Plus.